Continuing reading from Dallas Pimiento, Book 2. This starts with a piece called A Few More Copies of the Leaping Dog. Albert's death is a real tragedy, Mona commented to Frescus. He was the janitor, Mona. Frescus did not take his eyes off the focusing grid of the photonic coil. It hardly rises to the height of a real tragedy. I feel sorry for him, that's all. Mona held a tray of tools that Frescus might need. Each of the two lab coat-clad technicians was perspiring slightly, though the underground lab was cool. The Biozorox machine was generating plenty of heated air molecules. I don't feel sorry for him at all. Frescus fired the coil with the thick trigger under his finger. He's dead. It's his parents that I would feel sorry for if I felt sorry at all. How many more copies are you going to make? Mona asked. Just a few more. In the next room, James and Bertha were alternately shocking the dog at their disposal by electrifying the floor and holding out irresistible treats on the end of a boom. Each action brought about the desired result, to make the dog leap as high as he could. The two different approaches were necessary, so the current thinking went, to keep the subject, in this instance a dog, from becoming complacent. You see, explained Dr. Shafton-Slap, complacency in any test subject is death to the experiment, unless we are actually testing for that quality. Of course, with a human subject, the irresistible treat is one of a different nature than the imported nuggets of whale's eye, but the idea is the same. Count Bogartine, to whom Shafton-Slap was explaining these things, nodded vigorously. Yes, he said. It's extremely important work, as I can see, but can you tell me where exactly this research fits into the great problem which I have come here to discuss? Well, Shafton-Slap drawled, pulling his long white beard through his fist, as I understand that you're trying to delay the technological breakthrough that will allow all human nervous systems to be linked together. Yes, replied the Count, or stop it outright. The scientist looked hard at Bogartine. You're fighting a losing battle, he told him. Banned under the tent. I'm sorry, sir, but food and drinks are banned under the tent, the attendant at the door told Ray. With a snort of disgust, Ray threw his bag of chips into the teeming garbage can. Then he passed through the slit in the large tent, wondering to himself why he had not demanded why of the attendant. His unasked question was soon answered. In the middle of the darkened ring inside the tent, a spotlight appeared, illuminating a man in black coveralls. Ladies and gentlemen, he called out in a powerful voice, give me your attention, please. I must ask for your silence and close attention. The man paused for a moment for the crowd around him to cease talking. My name is Grib Charters. In a minute, my friends and I are going to bring out a creature of immense size and strength. I must ask you that you remain quiet. He must not be startled. You have been asked at the door not to bring any food or drinks inside. This is necessary because the smell could drive the creature into a frenzy. Now, if you are all ready, we'll bring out Incarno, the beast. The man turned aside as the spotlight expanded. Gasps were heard from those near the oncoming attraction, who could discern its hulking shape in the gloom. 4 men garbed similarly to Charters, led in a bear-like creature by leather straps attached to a harness about its torso. It walked on its hind legs and stood approximately 10 feet tall. Behold, Incarno! Charters boomed. That's a ground sloth, a middle-aged man seated next to Ray said aloud in a conversational tone, audible to Ray even amid the collective gasps of the audience. Ray studied the men leading the beast. Their faces were grim. That's a ground sloth, Ray's neighbor said again. The fellow turned to Ray and leaned forward, getting his attention. That thing's a ground sloth, he repeated. Oh, yeah? Ray responded because he felt he had to. Yeah, I've read books. That's a ground sloth. Aren't they extinct? Ray raised his voice. The crowd was applauding the beast's performance of a simple trick. No, said the man. They got some still alive out in the woods. Fudge Bunny. Finley, hunting for his son Tom, who had been missing for over 48 hours, enlisted the services of the Fudge Bunny, a creature in the charge of Randolph Blunt. Finley wrote out a check for $200 and placed it in the weathered palm of Blunt, who then proceeded to explain how to handle the Fudge Bunny. Fudge Bunny, he called out to the tall, bipedal, rabbit-like creature. Follow this man. He then placed the reins attached to a collar about its neck in Finley's hands. He's all yours now, Blunt told Finley. Well, let's go, said Finley. I told you. You got to say his name, Blunt reminded the distraught father. But it's so silly, Finley complained. Beginning just outside the charming little cabaret where Tom had last been seen, Finley and Fudge Bunny hunted for tracks or other telltale spoor. No sooner had they picked up on the promising trail than Fudge Bunny made a ghastly vocalization. Through inhuman vocal cords, he seemed to say, "Nego Baffoom!" "Go then, you expensive mistake," Finley ordered. The creature made use of the oversized facilities at the nearby train depot. Once again, they set off. The creature's nose so like that of a rabbit, sniffing at prints invisible to Finley's eye. An hour later, exhausted from holding the leash, Finley sensed anxiety in Fudge Bunny. "What is it?" he asked, not expecting a sensible answer. He was surprised to hear Fudge Bunny say, "Niff it." They were standing in the cool dawn outside the mock boat haze. "In there?" Finley asked, pointing at the strangely shaped building. Fudge Bunny's jerky, eager movements and agitated moans were answer enough. "This is the person you're looking for, Fudge Bunny," Finley forced himself to say the embarrassing name as he held up a picture of Tom. He released the creature from his grasp and sent him barreling through the front door. Breathlessly he followed, in his haste nearly missing Tom, who was standing just inside devouring a sandwich. Now I shall attempt to memorize the proper use of shall. I shall open the newspaper, and therein will see what is fit to be read. Easy enough, I suppose, but try putting it into action. Ask yourself throughout the busy day which actions are volitional and which are not. It's hard to do. After a while, you begin to wonder if grammatical orthodoxy is really worth the effort. How the worth of any effort is calculated is more important than the actual worth, probably more important than the effort. Methodologies consume the better part of my day. That has to change. It should, a form of shall, as confidence grows. To do things surrealistically, that would, a form of will, be the best. It's no secret that I am writing this. It should be no secret that the narratives are unfolding under my direction. What may not be obvious is that a quasi-surrealist methodology is being employed in the composition of this work, not only piece by piece, but as a whole. That whole can be extrapolated to include the sum of my life and therefore the universe I live in. My work is a balance between things that happen and things that I make happen. To quote Johnny Cash, I walk the line. Who is lonelier, the puppet or the puppeteer? The improper use of language under its own internal rules was the only crime that King Brisbane XII felt he still had any authority to pronounce judgment over. As the best of late 70s funk played in the background, Brisbane discussed sentencing with his left and right hands, each disguised as a wooden-headed courtier from times long past. These are semantic cesspools, Your Majesty, to use Lenny Bruce's phrase, said the right hand, a name tag on his breast reading Doty. Yes, but they are important to me, the old king replied. Don't listen to him, my king. He's obsessed with a sloppy, free-spirited approach to life, said Morris, the left hand. I am for getting to the heart of the argument, Doty argued. Rules, man, rules! I'm afraid I've lost the thread here. What was I going to say?